use and or view at your own risk. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I increase the efficacy of any antivirus or anti-malware scanner that I use. If a computer virus or malware is already present on the system, the only way to even vaguely ensure the computer is clean is to invoke a scorched earth policy, meaning to use a total data destruction utility such as dban and reinstall the operating system from scratch. Even then, if the malware has invaded any firmware or the BIOS, you may still not be free of the malicious code. The reason for doing the things in this video is to try and ensure any data and or files that I back up from the infected PC are as clean as possible, and thereby minimize the chances of reinfection when the files are returned to the fresh operating system installation. Do not return any files to the new installation until it is completely updated and an anti-malware solution is installed and fully updated. So let's get started. The very first thing you'll need to do is make sure that any anti-malware or antivirus solution you have installed on your computer is up to date. Many computer viruses will disable the ability for any installed anti-malware software from updating. If you can, update normally. If you can't, try booting into safe mode with networking and update normally there. If that doesn't work, then try to download manual updates to the virus signature database for your particular software. And we'll go ahead and give you just a little example of how to do that. So just go to the start button, click that. Then we're going to restart our computer and boot into safe mode. So we'll click restart. Now once you see the manufacturer's boot up screen disappear, or the BIOS screen, start tapping F8. That should take you into the advanced boot options menu. You want to select safe mode with networking. So highlight that, arrow key down, highlight that, and then press enter. Type in your password as you normally would. You'll be presented with a support and help menu, or help and support menu. Just go ahead and close that out. We don't need that right now. You can see that we are connected to the internet. Now what you want to do is just try to update your antivirus solution or anti-malware solution normally. You should be able to do that. Again, as I said before, if you can't, just open up your web browser, and I'll use Windows Defender. Everybody has that. I'll use that as an example. And type in the search box Windows Defender. Of course, this may be your malware or antivirus solution, so it'd be a Vera or a Vast or whatever. And then manual update. And if there is the ability to be able to manually update your virus signature database, you should be able to find a link to a place where you can actually update those definitions. And you can see right here the second one is latest definition updates for Windows Defender Antivirus. Just click that. And go down to the very bottom. Take note of the release date and the signature database version so that you can make sure that it installs properly. Viruses will also try to keep the database from being overwritten and therefore being updated. So something good to keep an eye on. Now you'll need to know, in this particular solution, you'll need to know the architecture of your system, i.e. whether it's 32-bit or 64-bit. It's very easy to find that out. Hold the Windows key and then tap the pause break key one time. That'll bring up system information, and you can usually look down real quick and see the system type on this computer is 32-bit operating system. So we'll need to choose 32-bit definitions. So go back, we're looking for Windows Defender in Windows 7, which we are, 32-bit. Select that. It'll download. You can see I've already pre-downloaded it, so it renamed it MPAS-FE1. Now once this is downloaded, go back up again, take note of what version it is. So it's 1.257.1240. Go ahead and close that out, and you'll need to browse to wherever you downloaded it. More than likely it's going to be in your downloads folder. So go to downloads. Again, I had downloaded this before, so we'll need to go to the latest one. Just click and run that normally. Double click it depending on how your computer is set. Answer or run to the security warning. That should install the latest definitions. Just give it a second. Go ahead and close that out. Now the shortcut to Windows Defender is not available in safe mode, but you can always browse to it. So you can just go to Windows Explorer and then Program Files, then Windows Defender, and execute the msascui.exe. Just click that or double click it. That'll open up Windows Defender, and we can see here that the latest virus definition, or anti-spyware definition as they're referring to it as, is 1.257.127.0, created today. That's what you want to see. You can go ahead and do a quick scan if you want to. At this point, it's neither going to hurt anything or help anything, more than likely. So what we're going to do is go ahead and close this out. Go ahead and close back down to the desktop. Once you've updated your antivirus solution or anti-malware solution, I would disconnect the infected computer from any and all networks. So no internet, no local networks, no Bluetooth, no anything. Make sure you're disconnected from all other computers in every way possible. Just go ahead and restart the computer and start Windows up normally. Now the next thing that we want to do is try and clear any programs that may be starting up when the computer starts up. If you're running from Windows XP to Windows 7, you will have a startup folder inside of your startup menu. So you'll need to check that and make sure that it's clear. So we'll go ahead and do that. Start button, all programs, startup menu, and make sure it's clear, or at least clear of anything that's unknown. You may have software that starts when you start your computer up that you installed. That's known software, so that's perfectly fine. Even while you're troubleshooting or trying to get rid of a virus, you may still want to delete that entry, just in case that entry has gotten infected. For all other versions of Windows, the next thing we want to do is make sure there's nothing set to start up when the computer starts up in the registry. Now, editing the registry can mess your computer up, but if you've already got a virus, that kind of doesn't matter at this point. But still, you may want to restart the computer or work with it further until you can get the information that you want off of it. Just be aware, that's all. So we want to click Run on the Start menu, or you can simply hold the Windows key and tap the R key. That'll bring up the Run menu or Run command, and type in regedit. So regedit. That's the registry editor. Click that. You'll get a user account control warning. Select yes. Now once you're in the registry editor, I want you to go to H key current user. Drop that down. Then go to software. Expand that heading. Go to Microsoft. Expand that. Then go to Windows. Expand that. Then current version. Also expand that. And the two keys that we're wanting to check are run and run once. And we want to make sure that, again, no unknown entries or nothing malicious is in there. Just like the startup folder, you can actually delete what is in there if you're planning on doing a reinstall. If you know that it's not going to mess the computer up, if you happen to need to restart the computer to get something off of it, or if you suspect that those entries or the programs that they point to may have been infected. Click the Run folder, and we'll see we have no entries in that. The Run Once folder, make sure it has no entries. Go back up to the top. Close the current user. Go to HKey local machine, expand that. Software, same thing. Microsoft. Windows. Current version. Run and Run Once keys. So run, and we can see here we actually do have an entry, but it's for my NVIDIA video card. So that's perfectly fine. Again, it is possible that that's infected. You could delete it if you wanted to. If you see something that is suspect, simply right click on the key and then select delete. If you're worried that whatever you may delete is something that you need, you can always make sure that you have the key selected or highlighted. Go to File and then Export, and that will export a registry file that you can simply double click later, and it'll put that entry back into the registry. You may need to restart the computer for that to take effect, but that's okay too. So we've checked that out. That's fine. We'll check the Run Once folder out. Fine. Our registry looks good. Go ahead and close that out. The next thing we'll need to do is zero out and disable the recycle bin, which basically works off a dynamically allocated virtual file that expands and contracts as needed depending on the size of your recycle bin, and viruses like to hide in that. Hover over the recycle bin icon, right click it, select Properties. What we want to do is we want to zero it out and disable it, and that's for all the drives on this computer. So right now the local disk C is selected. You can see it has a custom size of 5.8 gigabytes. We're going to take that down to 0 and apply. We're going to select the next hard drive on this computer, 0, apply again, and then we're going to select Don't Move Files to the Recycle Bin, remove files immediately, and that should effectively kill that virtual file that is used for the recycle bin. Next, we're going to zero out and disable the page file, or what's also known as virtual memory. You can see here that I have my computer icon on my desktop. If you don't, you can go down to the Start button, Start menu, the computer shortcut, right click it, and select Properties. Then you'll need to go to the Advanced System Settings selection or link. Click that. That'll bring up our system properties. Advanced should already be selected. Go underneath Performance, click Settings, then Advanced, and then we're going to kind of do the same thing we did with the recycle bin. We're going to disable it. So you're going to select Change. Also, for all the hard drives on the computer, the only hard drive that has, you may have to uncheck Automatically Manage Paging File for all drives in order to get to this point. Select all the drives on the computer. You can see there's only one here that has a page file on it, which is the C drive. It's already selected. It's got a custom size. What we're going to do is take that to the No Page File setting or selection, and then click Set. You're going to get a warning. Don't worry about it. Just select Yes. Now you'll see that we have no page file or no virtual memory on either hard drive. Just click OK. You need to make sure you hit that Set button. That's important. People forget to do that a lot and they can't figure out what went wrong. Hit OK. You're going to get another warning. Disregard that also. Hit OK again. OK one more final time under the System Properties menu, and it's going to ask you if you want to restart. just select Restart Later. The next thing that we're going to do is flush the DNS resolver cache and disable the DNS client service. Viruses and anti-malware like to poison your resolver cache so that when your browser or anything else goes out on the internet, they can actually redirect where it goes. To do that, we're going to need to use the command prompt with administrator privileges. So go to the Start button, click that, All Programs. I happen to have the command prompt right there underneath my, as a top heading on my Start menu. It's either going to be in Accessories from Windows XP up, or the Windows Administration folder in Windows 10, maybe the Windows System folder in Windows 10. Either way, right click it, run as administrator. Select yes to the user account control warning. Now once the command prompt window is up, we're running with administrator privileges. You can see that because the word administrator is prefixed in the Windows title itself. That's something you're going to have. In order to flush the DNS resolver cache, what you're going to need to do is type in the command ipconfig ipconfig space / flush FLUSHDNS, all one word. Hit the enter key. You'll see that it says Windows IP configuration successfully flushed the DNS resolver cache. We're good there. We can go ahead and exit out. Then you'll need to go to the control panel. Again, I've got a shortcut. If you don't, Start button, Start menu, Control panel shortcut. And then you'll need to go to Administrative Tools, and what we're going to do here is we're going to open up the Services configuration menu, Services, and we're going to actually disable the DNS client service, which controls the DNS resolver cache, so that way it can't be rebuilt. So just scroll down and look for DNS client, make note of where it's set to in case you want to change it back. Right click it, go to Properties, change the startup type from automatic to disable, stop it. That'll actually stop the service. Click Apply, OK. Go ahead and close out back down to the desktop. Next, we're going to disable Hibernation. Hibernation is where the computer uses a file to store things that you were doing so that you can open up the computer and it'll go right back to where you were instead of coming out of sleep or restarting the computer itself. It's a place where viruses or malware love to hide. So we're going to disable it first, and then we're going to make sure that the Hibernation or the hiberfil, hiberfil.sys file is deleted so that nothing can hide in that file. Again, Control Panel, Power Options, and you should be okay just changing the plan that you're currently under. That should be enough. See which one you're under. You can see that it's selected. Select Change Plan Settings. Then select the heading of Change Advanced Power Settings. And then go down to Sleep. Expand that. And make sure that Hibernation is not selected. In Windows 10 you have something that's called Hybrid Sleep, which actually uses the Hibernation file. Make sure Hybrid isn't selected under Sleep, and the setting is Never. And then click OK. Now that will effectively disable Hibernation within that power plan. Now what we want to do is actually kill off Hibernation for the entire computer and delete that hiberfil.sys file. In order to do that, we'll need to go back to the command prompt, Start button, All Programs, in my case, command prompt, right click, run as administrator, answer yes to the user account control. Then we want to use the power config command, POWERCFG space, a switch of H, and a designation of off. That will kill hibernation for the entire computer and should delete the hiberfil.sys file. I think that file is held under the Windows folder, so you can always go and check and make sure that it's gone. You may need to restart your computer first. So go ahead and close that or exit out. Now we're going to turn off System Restore for all hard drives on this computer. In order to do that, you'll need to go back to My Computer. Of course, I've got it here on the desktop. Or you can go to the Start button, Start menu, Computer shortcut, right-click it, select Properties. Then go to the Advanced System setting, click that. Go ahead and close out the system information there. And go to the System Protection tab. Click that. You can see that there are already the System Restore is already off for all the drives on this system. If yours aren't, you simply highlight it, go to Configure, make sure it's set to turn off. Again, do that for all the hard drives on your computer. I would also run the maximum usage all the way down as far as I could. That will shrink your System Restore file to as small as possible. Viruses are also known to hide in there. Hit apply, OK, OK, and back out of that to the desktop. At this point, it's best to restart your computer and make all of these settings that we've made, make sure they take effect. So just restart your computer, Start button, Start menu, restart. Now we're back in Windows. What we're going to do is clean up all temporary files, system restore points, and any shadow copies using disk cleanup. And if you have something like CCleaner or BleachBit, you could also run those too. Go to the Start button, All Programs, System Tools, Disk Cleanup. Now once that comes up, you want to run it for every hard drive that you have on your system. This is a C drive, and I won't do it for all of them, but we'll just take you through one of them. Click OK. It'll go through and calculate what files are there and what can and can't be cleaned up. There is another selection that you'll need to make here as soon as that gets done. Now that it's finished its scanning, what we want to do is expand the selection of files that we're going to clean up. And we're going to do that by selecting the Clean System Files button. We'll click that. It's going to ask you which drive again. Just make sure you select the same drive, of course. Click OK. It's going to scan again because now it's scanning for a greater selection of files. Now that it's through scanning for system files to clean up, I would select all of the entries available if you're sure you're infected. If you're not sure, you may have to be a little judicious about what you select. You'll also want to go over to the More Options tab and make sure that you clean up the System Restore and System Shadow copies that we turned off earlier. So just click the Clean Up button on that. It'll ask you if you're sure. Select Delete. You can go back, it doesn't matter. Click OK. Then delete files again. And now it will actually perform the cleanup. Doesn't take long. Again, if you had CCleaner or something else on your system like BleachBit, you may also want to run that too. It's not going to hurt anything. The number one thing that I would do if I was cleaning up an infected system, and once I had performed all these operations, is actually reboot the machine back into safe mode again. You don't need to choose safe mode with networking. just regular safe mode, and run the virus scans from there. I would also do my very best to download and burn a disk of a bootable anti-malware solution. Most of the major software companies or anti-malware companies will provide you these solutions for free, and what that will do is boot up through that CD or USB thumb drive that you create and actually bypass the operating system altogether. It's a lot better for checking for infected BIOSes and infected firmware. And good luck. And thank you for watching.